Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to the Husband's Handbook podcast. Now, I try not to get political on my channel. I really don't. But I read this the other day, and this is something that just really fucking pissed me off. Now, I don't care what political party you're with. I could give a rat's ass at this point. But no one should use children as a weapon. I don't care if you're straight, bi, gay, lesbian, trans, don't give a shit. Okay? Children need to be kept out of politics. My parents, who would be considered now to be more independent, never involved politics with us. Now, we knew how the government worked, we knew who was the president. They would let us watch the news, but they never talked about politics. They wanted us to make our own decisions. Now, if we had any questions or concerns, yes, we could go to them. But we were always pro Constitution for everybody, equality under the law for everybody, not just certain people, but everybody. But this story here, and I brought up three sites here. Now, this is going to start from Decision. This is an evangelical site. And it says Biden administration ties transgender policy to food for poor students. Now, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but this idea that all white people are rich is stupid. I grew up on the lower end of town. I didn't know it, but we lived below the poverty line for most of my life. My parents didn't make a big stink out of it. We got some government assistance, but not much. Whenever we moved out into the country, we ended up getting student lunches for cheap. I think it was like 10 cents a meal. And believe it or not, it really helped out. We knew we could get breakfast if we got to school early enough, and lunch. It was guaranteed. It was for us. We could go, they would punch our ticket, and we would get whatever was available. But this is an announcement from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, who is supposed to be, pro farmer, pro rancher, pro feeding the country. That's the whole damn reason it was established. Now, the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, who, you see them on like the beef stuff, USDA prime rib or, whatever. Food Nutrition Service. Now, that helps cover the cost for schools to feed children. Announced May 5th that any K through 12, so the entirety of public school, any K through 12 school district, whatever, receiving government funding must adhere to transgender inclusive policy or risk losing the federal funds that enables them to offer affordable or free breakfast, lunch, and snacks to students of low income families. Now, both political parties, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Green, whatever, independent, libertarian, no one has fucking talked about this. No one has touched this. Why? Because we've had a bunch of shootings. So, this has been kind of swept under the rug. Between Ukraine and a bunch of shootings, this got slid under. So all of y'all who were saying, oh, something's coming down the pipeline, congratulations, this is it. Now again, this affects most of, I guess, POC families, African Americans, Hispanics. So you're basically leveraging children's physical well-being and health for political gain. That's what you're doing here. The USDA is committed to administering all its programs with equality and fairness, okay? Let me tell y'all, this is bullshit. Equality and fairness. No, it's not. Because if you're willing to steal food out of the mouth of children, that's not equality, and that sure as hell isn't fairness. And serving those with the highest dignity. Chicken shit. Now, I don't care where you stand on the political spectrum. Anyone under the age of 8 or 9, depending on a child's body, has never hit puberty. Now, girls tend to start earlier than boys. But again, 8 or 9, nope. So from pre-K to what, 3rd or 4th grade now, you're going to hurt all of those children. All of them. Because you're leveraging that. And this is more bullshit from the Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, or Balsack, or whatever his name is. A key step in advancing these principles is rooting out discrimination in any form. Let me highlight that. Discrimination in any form. That's a lie. Because there's discriminating against children. So, basically, all they're doing is keeping food away from kids. Now, this is an evangelical site, so let's go to something a little less right, okay? Here we go. This is the Daily Caller. In their political section. No, I don't care about the Daily Caller. Politics. If schools don't let boys into girls' bathrooms, Biden will take their lunch money. I'm not going to lie, that's a clever title. Because I was bullied as a kid, and I had my lunch ticket stolen by bullies. This reminds me of that. So, cleverly done, Miss Laura Dungan. Oh, it's funny. And this is dated the 25th, May 25th. So, the Biden administration will require schools that receive federal funding for lunches to enforce its ban on discrimination of gender identity and let biological males into girls' bathrooms. Explain this to me. How come it's never the other way around? How come biological girls don't want to go into boys' restrooms? Here's a hint. Boys are dirty. And I say that as a former boy. Now that I'm a man, I'm not as dirty. But still, male restrooms are dirty. And I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. And this according to May 5th USDA announcement. Which, let's be honest here. It shouldn't happen. At all. The Democrats and the Republicans and the progressives and everyone else is like, equality, equality, equality. Why is nobody talking about this? Not Ted Cruz, not Dan Crenshaw, because I'm from Texas. Not Fox News, not CNN, not The Blaze. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody. Except a church thing and the Daily Caller. And it's like, why is no one talking about this? And I'm going to tell y'all right now why. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Because it's not sexy. It's not. You want to blame cops for doing their job? Oh, everybody loves to blame a cop. You want to have a woman shoot someone with an AR-15? Hey, that's sexy. Women power. But taking food away from kids? Oh, that's not sexy. It's not. But the funny thing is these are the kind of articles that nobody's talking about. Why? Because let's be honest here. It won't get news. You want to talk about a tweet about Obama? Sure. You want to talk about transgenderism, whatevers? Hey, that's always a fun topic. You want to talk about this ist or ism or phobic or whatever? Hey, that's cool. But nobody's mentioned this. Nobody has. I found it just by happenstance. By just perusing the interwebs. And here we are. Now I'm going to add all this in the video description. But I'm going to make it clear so everyone knows. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care who you're married to or who your life partner is. I don't care if you're on hormone treatments or not. Nobody should be treating children like this. Children are sweet and innocent. Some parents have a hard life because this negatively affects single parent households. And most of that are single moms. This negatively affects low income families, which are mostly African American and Latin American. So, all this talk of ists and isms, this is a real hard look at they choose policy over people. And that goes for any one in the Senate or the House or the White House. They're choosing policy over people. And this shit's got to stop. Now, the FNS funding is supposed to support food security programs for the poor, such as federally subsidized school lunches as part of the SNAP program. It also does with food stamps. But again, it's not that the people who are getting food are being discriminated against. It's people who are supposed to go into bathrooms. Which those two, I mean, chicken and egg kind of thing. But yeah, you have to eat to be able to go to the bathroom. But still, this is a no. This should never happen, ever. So they're saying this move is in line with Biden's executive order banning discrimination based on gender identity, which we can get into that later. And look, here's the USDA. Their little tweet on the whole thing. Trans Day of Visibility. This has nothing to do with trans. Let's be honest, this doesn't. This is forcing schools and parents to comply. Otherwise, your kids won't get fed. That's what this is. Now let's go to the next one. This is the Washington Free Beacon. They're kind of they're a bit more of an independent. But again, kids there, that Farrah Fawcett hairdo. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember that. Again, no free lunches. Biden admin will pull free meal funding from schools that don't comply. So this isn't about freedom of speech. This isn't about anything. It's do it or your kids aren't getting food, which is wrong. I mean, I don't understand. And this is written June 1st. It's about 3 days ago. I don't understand why this is an issue. I don't. But then again, I was raised to treat children, regardless of whoever they are, with protection. I mean, let's be honest here. Children are innocent. They have no sin. They have no guile. They have needs. They have a need to eat. They have a need to sleep. I mean, anyone who's ever been around children will tell you when kids' needs aren't met, they get very cranky. But again, here we go. It'll prevent low-income students from participating in the National Lunch Program. But nobody's talking about this. And this was originally reported by the Center Square. But, I mean, here's a spokeswoman. So finally somebody talked about this. DeSantis. Which I really wish he was our governor here in Texas. Don't get me wrong, I like Abbott. But DeSantis just don't give two shits, and I love it. So, spokeswoman for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that the Biden administration decision to withhold food from disadvantaged children in order to advance a deranged political agenda, which it is appalling. I mean, it is. It's complete and utter bullcrap. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why people do this. I mean, from a propaganda standpoint, I understand why nobody's touching this. I do. I understand it. But, I mean, it's wrong. on so many levels. It's wrong. And I'm glad that South Dakota governor here is taking legal action. But none of this is in the mainstream media. Not the Blaze, not Fox News, not even the smaller independent ones. Like, nobody's talking about this. Of course, CNN and MSNBC won't. Who are some of the other ones? The Young Turks, they're not going to touch this. But nobody's talking about this. And this has woken me up. Now, I've always been a bit of conservative. Now I'm more independent. But this is an issue I have. So I suggest every single one of you really start looking at where you get your news from. Now, of course, the news can't report on everything all the time. It's impossible. But do they care more about tweets and shit on TikTok? Or do they care more about policy? So I'm going to leave y'all with that and really think that over. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.